Have someone look at the heating system. It's only cold air. No, cold air.
You right?
Stay cool.
Thank you.
It's our ship. Now she quotes it. That you probably have 7 names. You know, later in the foolish as well.
Sorry.
And there are other people come out that the church tell us have many names. And the Bruce, the boy, so Betty is the first to say that the names represent different characteristics that people have. At one time, he can be known by this name because he is behaving or he's in circumstances that warrant this. And another times he is in a different circumstance and he's known by a different name.
It's so cold, huh?
That is very common. We find it in monarchies, right? The King of England takes a name, but that's not his name. The church followed it. Come to vote, you have a different name.
Make sure it's at the heat.
All that is meant to communicate the same message. The different circumstances,
Let's see.
you need certain strength, certain leadership, you got to call it by this name.
Is that heat?
No, it's so cold.
No, humidified. Okay, that's heat. Put it back on again.
Complicated person.
How come it was warm heat before?
Because now we have a whole literature built up on these stuff. And I'll say, what do you go to eat stuff? When Pharaoh wanted to enslave the Jews, so we had 3 foreign policy experts. So it was Israel and Bilon and Eo. Now again, whether these people or not, depends on which medrash you want, because there's a day of the Gemara, the Eo law, Eo Libra. But there never was anybody like Eo. That's all a metaphor. But anyway, this medrash says that there were 3. Yisro, Bilon, and Eo. The medrash says Yisro gave him the advice that he should let the Jewish people go. He should not enslave them. In other words, don't start out with them. And if you do, you will be the loser at the end. And because of that, Paro expelled Yisro from his position. And he expelled it from the country. So he had to go back to Midian. Gilon gave him the advice to enslave the Jewish people. And Eel, the Medrash said, Shosa. He was quiet. He had a neutral opinion. The Gemara says, Nidon be Yisuri. Therefore, all of the pains and punishments that we read about in the book of Eel fell upon him. The famous idea that they say in the name of many great rabbis that being silent oftentimes is acquiescence. And we see that when Eo had his trouble, so he was not silent. Complained loudly. And here he's silent. So when the person himself is in pain, so that he's silent is unacceptable. But when somebody else is in pain, so then one can adopt a neutral position. But in any event, we meet Yisro that he's a good guy. He told Paro not to enslave the Jews. And therefore, we would understand how he becomes Moshe's father-in-law and why he would come to the desert and why there's a parsha in the Torah that he is the author of that parsha regarding the Dayanim, Sorei Gameo, Sorei Alotim. So the Meforshim say it lies to the original words in the parsha. It says, Vayishma Yisro Kohen Midyon Chosei Moshe. Eis Kol Asher Oso Elohim Yisrael. Vayishma, he heard. So others also heard. We say in the Shira, Shomu Ami Yugozu, the nations of the world all heard. The mighty Egyptian empire is defeated, thrown into the sea. But they didn't come. Not only did they come, Vayovo Amalek, those that came to finish Paro's work. Yisro came because originally he had an understanding of the Jewish people. Now the Torah describes him here as Kohen Midya. He's the high priest of Midya. The Meforshim discussed the fact that he may have been a Kohen Avodah Zarah. Famous Medrash about Eliezer, the son of Gershom, rather, the son of Moshe, that Moshe had to agree that Yisro would raise him, and he would raise him Avodah Zarah. And that's with the incident of the Chumash where the snake comes, we don't know what that story is, it swallows him halfway. Because he was willing to dedicate himself to Zorah. So on one hand, he's Kohen Midya. On the other hand, he's Chosei Moshe. And not only Chosei Moshe, that he comes to visit, he comes to identify with the Jewish people. He stays with them, according to many of the Midrashim. Rashi says, what did he hear? He heard there are other midrashim that he heard Matan Torah. So it's not clear to us when did he come. But the Ramban holds that Chumash is chronologically correct. So in the Chumash, Yisrael comes before Matan Torah. Cheder. So the Rebbe said, Vayishma Yisro, Yisro heard, Kohen Midian, the Galach from Midian, Moshe's father-in-law. So the child asks him, how can he be Moshe's father-in-law? Galach doesn't have kids. So the Rebbe said it was before Mount So the Yisro is coming from. We zoomed you.
It's called Zoom Bomb. What was I? Yeah. Okay. Don't get carried away.
So the Zoomers will please excuse you. Yeah. So Yisro is coming to the away with the joke. Coming to identify with the Jewish people. He's the one that sees that what happened is something out of the ordinary. And therefore, he's attached to us. We see later, we saw in the Torah yesterday, that was from those were descendants of Yisro that lived with the Jewish people in the northern part of Israel. So Yisro is part of our story. Somebody from the outside, way from the outside, from Kohen Midian. But he becomes an important part. Torah gives him credit and he creates a parsha in the Torah. We'll find later, though, in the Torah that Israel leaves that, deserts that. Moshe begs him not to. Don't go back. Stay with us. But Moshe knows that Yisro is a morale builder for the Jewish people. The Jewish people need the outside to approve of us so that you can't exist where everybody is against you. Someone has to be on your side. Someone has to appreciate you. I don't know Tazo or someone. Don't forsake us. Because you know all the problems that exist. So you know we need you. Rashi there points out that Yisro leaves anyway. He has a noble reason. He's going back to make converts in Mincha Maariv. But the fact that he left made an impression. There's a whole series of little events that eventually lead to the great event that the Jewish people, that generation, will not go there at this time. So we have here in a composite way a very complicated person, a very complicated situation, which the Torah wants us to realize. But the Torah didn't, who cares whether Yisro came or he didn't come? Who cares whether they had they had a breakfast together? They didn't. They're all unnecessary frills. But the Torah wants us to realize that everything is important, and that Yisro plays a role. And over the long history of the Jewish people, there are many Yisros. Some of them positive, some less so. But that, again, the fact that he came, the fact that he heard, the fact that he understood, that itself is worthy of consideration. It's worthy of the fact that the Torah wrote it and inscribed it and named the parsha after him, the parsha of the Dayonim, all of which were part of his contribution to Jewish history and Jewish third.
I hope I didn't damage it.
Not at all. Not at all. It's fine.